Imagine putting something on your plate that not only harms your health but also threatens an entire ecosystem. Enough mercury to damage your brain, antibiotics that trigger bacterial resistance, and fishing practices that are depleting our oceans. Why keep choosing these fish? What if you could change this today, would you? Let's dive deep into this issue. Subscribe to the channel for more updates and enjoy this video if it is useful to you. There's another way to support our content. See the comments. Make a difference to someone's health by enjoying this video. Your collaboration helps us bring health information to more people. Conscious selection of the fish we consume is crucial for both our health and environmental sustainability. Fish are a vital source of protein and omega-3 fatty acids, essential for heart, brain, and immune system health. However, the environmental impact of fishing, along with the presence of contaminants in some species, can compromise these benefits. Overfishing and unsustainable practices threaten marine ecosystems and can lead to the reduction of important fish populations, affecting biodiversity and the resilience of aquatic habitats. Therefore, it is imperative that consumers make informed choices to support responsible fishing and sustainable aquaculture, thus ensuring the availability of fish resources for future generations. Besides environmental aspects, consumer health is directly linked to the species of fish chosen. Fish like swordfish, shark, and certain types of tuna accumulate significant levels of mercury, which can be particularly dangerous for pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, and young children due to risks of neurological development damage. On the other hand, contamination from antibiotics and pesticides in fish from unregulated farms can affect the immune and hormonal systems of consumers. Thus, careful selection of fish not only protects our health, but also encourages fishing and aquaculture practices that respect natural limits and promote a healthier and more sustainable environment. Swordfish. Swordfish is notorious for its high levels of mercury, a toxic substance that can have significant adverse effects on human health, especially in vulnerable populations such as pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, and young children. Regular consumption of swordfish can lead to mercury accumulation in the body, which is particularly concerning due to the potential for damage to the nervous system. Mercury interferes with brain development and can result in developmental delays and cognitive deficits in children exposed in the womb. Moreover, in adults, chronic exposure to mercury can cause neurological problems, manifesting as loss of coordination, blurred vision, and tremors. Besides mercury, swordfish can contain other toxins and environmental contaminants, such as polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, and dioxins, which are known for their carcinogenic and endocrine-disrupting effects. These substances can accumulate in the fatty tissue of fish due to their position at the top of the marine food chain, where they prey on other smaller, already contaminated fish. Frequent consumption of swordfish and other large predatory species can, therefore, increase the risk of developing cancer and hormonal disorders in humans. To minimize these risks, it is recommended to limit the consumption of these species and opt for fish with lower mercury and contaminant content, such as wild salmon and sardines. Bigeye tuna. Bigeye tuna, also known as bigeye, is a species popular both in gourmet dishes and canned foods, prized for its rich and flavorful meat. However, this species is among the fish that exhibit high levels of mercury, a concern for both nutritionists and environmentalists. Mercury, a heavy metal and neurotoxin, accumulates in bigeye tuna due to its long lifespan and predatory feeding habits, which include consuming other smaller fish that may also have accumulated mercury in their bodies. Prolonged exposure to mercury through frequent consumption of bigeye tuna can lead to serious health issues, such as damage to the nervous system, changes in cognitive function, and developmental problems in children. Due to these risks, various health and food safety organizations recommend limiting the consumption of bigeye tuna, especially among vulnerable groups, such as pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, and children. Guidelines generally suggest that healthy adults limit their consumption of bigeye tuna to 1 meal per week, and that at-risk groups completely avoid it to minimize the risks of mercury toxicity. These measures not only aim to protect individual health, but also promote more conscious consumption practices that may encourage the fishing industry to adopt more sustainable and less harmful methods to the environment and public health. Opting for tuna species with lower mercury accumulation, such as albacore tuna, can be a safer alternative for health-conscious consumers. Shark. Shark meat, consumed in various cultures around the world, carries significant health risks due to its high concentration of mercury and PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls. As predators at the top of the marine food chain, sharks accumulate these toxic substances in their bodies through bioaccumulation, a process where toxins from contaminated prey progressively concentrate at higher levels of the food chain. Mercury is particularly dangerous because it can adversely affect the nervous system, especially in developing fetuses and young children, while PCBs are known for their potential carcinogenic effects and the ability to cause a variety of chronic health problems, including disorders of the endocrine and immune systems. Due to the serious health risks associated with consuming shark meat, many health experts and regulatory bodies advise that consumers completely avoid this type of fish, especially pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, and children. In addition to health risks, shark fishing presents profound environmental concerns, including threats to marine biodiversity and the imbalance of ocean ecosystems. Therefore, reducing or eliminating the consumption of shark meat not only protects individual health, but also contributes to marine conservation efforts, promoting the sustainability of the oceans. Opting for fish with lower contamination risk and lower ecological impact is a safer and more responsible choice for conscious consumers. King mackerel. King mackerel, also known as kingfish, is a species of fish that can grow to large sizes and is popular in many cuisines for its distinct flavor and firm texture. However, this popularity comes with significant health concerns, particularly due to the high concentration of mercury found in this species. As a large predatory fish, king mackerel accumulates mercury in its tissues through the consumption of smaller fish that also contain mercury. Frequent consumption of this species can lead to mercury accumulation in the human body, resulting in various health problems, such as damage to the nervous system, developmental issues in children, and other adverse effects that can affect cardiovascular and kidney health. Due to the risks associated with high mercury content, certain at-risk groups, such as pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, and young children, are advised to completely avoid consuming king mackerel. This advice also extends to other vulnerable populations, such as the elderly and people with pre-existing health conditions that may be exacerbated by exposure to mercury. Dietary guidelines recommend that these groups opt for fish with low mercury content, such as wild salmon and trout, which offer similar nutritional benefits without the associated risks of consuming large predatory fish species. By making conscious food choices, consumers can help protect their health and contribute to the demand for more sustainable and safe fishing practices. Imported catfish. Imported catfish, especially those raised in aquaculture farms in countries where food safety regulations may be less stringent than in the United States and Europe, often present significant food safety concerns. Many of these farms use excessive antibiotics and chemicals to control diseases and promote rapid fish growth, practices that can have direct implications for the health of consumers. The indiscriminate use of antibiotics can contribute to the development of resistant bacteria, which represents a threat not only to aquatic ecosystems, but also to global public health, increasing the risk of human infections that do not respond to conventional antibiotic treatments. In addition to antibiotics, the chemicals used on catfish farms, such as pesticides and disinfectants, can remain in the tissues of the fish and be consumed by humans, leading to potential toxicological risks. These contaminants can affect the endocrine system, reproduction, and can even be carcinogenic, depending on the amount and frequency of exposure. For these reasons, conscious consumers are encouraged to seek information about the origin of the catfish they consume, preferring those certified by entities that guarantee sustainable and safe aquaculture practices. Reducing the consumption of imported catfish from unregulated sources not only protects individual health, but also supports the demand for responsible and environmentally respectful fishing practices. Tilapia. Tilapia is one of the most widely consumed fish globally, raised on a large scale in aquaculture systems due to its resilience and rapid growth. However, the diet administered to these tilapias in captivity, often rich in soy and corn-based feeds, can lead to an imbalance in the fatty acid profile of the fish, significantly increasing its omega-6 fatty acid content compared to omega-3. While both types of fatty acids are essential for human health, a high intake of omega-6 relative to omega-3 can contribute to chronic inflammation in the body. This inflammation is associated with a variety of chronic health conditions, including heart disease, type 2, diabetes, and arthritis. Additionally, inflammation exacerbated by excessive omega-6 consumption can compromise the anti-inflammatory benefits of omega-3, which is abundant in other types of fish, such as salmon and sardines. Health-conscious consumers concerned about inflammatory balance and maintaining a healthy diet should consider moderating their consumption of tilapia or choosing species with a more balanced fatty acid profile. Informing oneself about the cultivation practices and feed used on tilapia farms can also help make more informed decisions, favoring those that use more natural practices and are less dependent on omega-6 rich feeds. Choosing sustainable aquaculture products not only supports personal health, but also promotes environmental and social responsibility in the consumption of aquatic resources. Bluefin tuna. Bluefin tuna, known for its tasty meat and high value, especially in the sushi market, is one of the species most affected by overfishing due to high demand. This unsustainable practice has led to a drastic reduction in its global populations, putting the species at risk of extinction in some areas. Overfishing of bluefin tuna not only threatens its survival, but also destabilizes the ecological balance of the oceans, impacting other species that depend on or are preyed upon by bluefin tuna. These environmental concerns have led to international calls for stricter regulations and sustainable fishing practices, aiming to preserve the remaining stocks and allow the populations of this highly migratory species to recover. In addition to environmental problems, bluefin tuna is also a significant source of mercury, accumulating the heavy metal in its flesh due to its long life and high position in the food chain. Frequent consumption of bluefin tuna, especially in raw forms such as sashimi and sushi, can lead to mercury accumulation in the human body, which is particularly concerning for pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, and young children. Exposure to mercury can cause serious health issues, including damage to the nervous system, neurological development disorders in young individuals, and a range of other adverse effects. Therefore, health-conscious consumers are advised to limit their intake of bluefin tuna and opt for fish with lower risk of mercury contamination, simultaneously contributing to conservation efforts by reducing the demand for an overfished species. Pangasius panga. Pangasius, a type of freshwater fish widely farmed in aquaculture facilities in Asia, especially in Vietnam, is often a subject of concern due to the cultivation conditions in which it is raised. Many Pangasius farms operate in low-quality aquatic conditions, where the high population density of the tanks can promote the proliferation of diseases and environmental contamination. To combat these issues, it is common to use excessive antibiotics and chemicals aimed at maintaining the health of the fish on the farms. However, this indiscriminate use can lead to contamination of the fish meat with residues of these substances, representing a potential health risk to consumers who regularly ingest these fish. Additionally, the use of hormones to accelerate the growth of Pangasius is another concerning practice in cultivation farms. These hormones can have disruptive effects not only on the fish themselves, but also on the surrounding aquatic environment and potentially on consumers. The presence of these substances in fish meat can affect the human endocrine system, leading to a range of health issues, including hormonal deregulation and reproductive problems. For these reasons, many food safety experts advise caution in the consumption of Pangasius and recommend that consumers look for certifications that guarantee sustainable and safe aquaculture practices before making their choice. These certifications help ensure that the fish were raised in conditions that respect strict health and environmental standards. Herring. Herring is a highly nutritious fish, rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which offer various benefits to cardiovascular health. However, the preservation methods of herring can significantly influence its nutritional value and safety for consumption. Traditionally, herring is marketed in various forms, including fresh, salted, smoked, or pickled. Each preservation method can introduce variables that potentially alter the health profile of the fish. For example, smoked and pickled herring often contains high levels of salt, which can be a concern for people with blood pressure issues or heart diseases. Additionally, smoking methods can introduce compounds such as polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are potentially carcinogenic. Besides preservation methods, the additives used in processing herring are also an important consideration. Preservatives, such as nitrates and nitrites, are commonly added to pickled fish to prolong their shelf life and maintain color. Although these additives allow herring to be stored for longer periods, they can form nitrosamines when consumed, substances that have been associated with an increased risk of certain types of cancer. Therefore, it is crucial for consumers to read product labels carefully and choose options with low levels of harmful additives. Opting for fresh or minimally processed herring can be a healthier choice to avoid these additives and enjoy the benefits of this fish more safely. Chilean sea bass. Chilean sea bass, also known as Chilean sea bass, has become very popular on high-end restaurant menus around the world due to its white, rich, and buttery meat. However, this popularity has significant environmental costs and associated health concerns. One of the biggest concerns is the high concentration of mercury found in this species, which accumulates in its body over its relatively long life and predatory habits. Mercury is a toxin that can have adverse effects on the nervous system, especially in young children and developing fetuses, leading to recommendations that pregnant women and children avoid its consumption. Additionally, the accumulation of mercury can negatively impact adult health, causing long-term cognitive and motor problems. Besides health concerns, the fishing of Chilean sea bass has also been associated with destructive environmental practices, including illegal fishing and unregulated capture that threaten the sustainability of the species. Overfishing has led to a decline in Chilean sea bass populations, which in turn destabilizes the marine ecosystems in which this species plays a crucial role. International efforts have been made to regulate fishing and promote more sustainable methods, but compliance and effectiveness of these regulations remain a challenge. Conscious consumers can help alleviate the negative environmental impact by opting for fish species with lower environmental risk and verifying the origin of Chilean sea bass to ensure it comes from sustainable sources. When choosing fish for consumption, it is essential to consider both personal health and the environmental impact of fishing practices. To ensure that the fish chosen are safe and sustainable, consumers should seek species known for low levels of contaminants, such as mercury and those from responsible sources. Fish such as wild salmon, rainbow trout, and sardines are often recommended for their beneficial nutritional profile and lower ecological impact. Additionally, it is helpful to check for certification seals, such as those from the Marine Stewardship Council, MSC, or Aquaculture Stewardship Council, ASC, which indicate sustainable and responsible fishing practices. Opting for local and seasonal fish can also contribute to reducing the carbon footprint associated with food transportation and support local fishing communities. Finally, learning about the species and their origins is a crucial step in making conscious choices. Using fish consumption guides, such as those provided by conservation organizations, can help identify the best options available. Furthermore, reducing the consumption of high-risk fish, like those discussed in this article, and varying the species consumed can decrease the risks of exposure to toxins and increase the diversity of the diet. With these practices, consumers not only protect their health, but also contribute to the sustainability of marine ecosystems, promoting a healthier and more balanced future for coming generations. And now, did you know that choosing the right fish not only makes a difference for your health, but also for the planet? Now that you know which fish to avoid, why not become an advocate for the oceans on your next trip to the market? Think about it. Which fish will you choose? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and hit the bell for more tips like these. And of course, comment below which fish you will think twice about buying again. Let's make a difference together.